Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn. I have two of my multi-deck channeled reads as well as a 7-deck twin flame read on the table. Some very profound messages came through today. It was very interesting too. I'll get to that. We're going to do the die in the beginning as well as pull oracle cards at the end. And let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths first. And if you don't want to, you can always just scroll right by this. Go ahead and take a few deep breaths. Breathe in. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. I was seeing a little bit, like I always see a little bit of darkness when I'm clearing the earth around Ukraine and Russia, but I'm also seeing it today on the southwest end of the planet, which was interesting because southwest came up a lot last week. So something going on there as well. So where I'm starting from here today is the night of the 24th before I went to bed. I did some technical remote viewing, which is different than the remote view I believe you guys are familiar with in your meditation. You can remote view, but there is a technique you can use to remote view, which has to do with you know, finding missing persons, things like that. They'll use energy drawings to identify locations, and so I did my my energy drawing or symbol before I went to bed. And it involves dropping the pen first to let go of the old energies, and then picking it up and doing the scribing. And so when I first did this, it was 11:41, so just before midnight on the 24th, going to the 25th, and I did my writing. And it just happened to be right at 11:44 to 45, which is the time of my birth. And I was also prior to that watching, I forget the artist's name, I think it was Japan, where he's a fireworks artist, and I'm sure you know if you've watched that on Netflix. But I was watching that prior to, and of course it's very beautiful. But there was energy of the artistic fireworks and saying happy birthday to the divine feminine. The broken human was coming up from the messages of this. The electric mountain and 3 cycles to complete self and then leap, like the 3 cycles and then going into the 4th quarter, so to speak. And then the rolling stone was coming up, which is the MM, the 3-3, the WW, the EE. So again, that same energy of the M or the 3 or the E or the W on each side, they're the same symbol. But MM comes up for Mary Magdalene, WW for the Wounded Warrior, 33 of the Christ vibration, and the EE of the energetic exchange, which just happens to be my first 2 initials as well, representing the divine feminine energies. And when you put all of those together, the M, the E, the 3, and the W, they make a gift, especially if you do it in the squared number fashion. It comes together as a gift with the wrapping, you know, and across the box. And then I always put the ash, the AE, on top as the bow, which is ash in Pleiadian means bright light. So it's like the icing on the cake, so to speak. So the energy of that, all of that was coming up. The broken human, electric mountain of 3 cycles to complete self and then leap to in the rolling stone from 2 different perspectives here, both wrangling in and leaping out, and very much the masculine coming up as that leaping energy and wrangling in as the feminine energy, which can represent the electric and magnetic as well. And then the gift as the gift of the moment all rolled, as in the rolling stone, into one with the bright light topping it off. And again, fireworks. So then I did the scribing again, and I said, well, who am I? As Evelyn. And so my second scribing was that message. And the message I got from that, which actually happened to be at 12:03 to 12:04, 12:034 is the 1, 2, 3, 4 was spaced between the 12 and the energetic exchange of the 8 of Wands. But it's also the 1, 2, 3, 4 shut the door, hanging out in the energetic exchange, the arrows of love. I was also getting this symbolism of the rolling stone like this, with the mountain and the valley between. So again, as in my name is Evelyn, but this is that energy of Eve, whereas the energetic exchange with the creation energy of the V between, and then the masculine is the 33, the Christ vibration with the mountain of the masculine between them. And then the O, or the space of source embodiment of the human between the M and M, as well as the W and W becoming mom and wow. Okay? So that was at 12:05. The rolling stone was coming up, and then I was being called to break down rolling stone. And of course, stone is ST, which is path or street of one, the path of one. And then the rolling, of course, roll is roll. And then ING is the water meadow in the process of the bend, the curve, the bowing, which is also the bridge, the ink, right, the message, the shirt to wobble to swing, water house, roll wobble process to bow, water meadow to swing to and fro. In the path of one, Sophia's tone, stone is also Sophia's tone, which is also, tone is to any, one. Any, and then E, which the lowercase e for me is the egg cracked open. 3 humans who are now less electric at 12:21, which for me, they're both Pisces energies of the world and the hanging man. And then, and the hanging man for me could be Capricorn as well, as we've just gone into the energies of Aquarius, which is why they just told me a Capricorn, because they knew it would take me into Aquarius. So we're fully into Aquarius energies right now, as far as the sun signs. 3 humans less electric, and then the double M's, double 3, double W's, double 3's coming up again with MM8, 833, and this was also coming up from the writing. 8WW, and then 338, which is also a very significant number for me. 338, which is the reference to Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene coming together. So, and just to show you the scribes that came up, so the first one I did was here, and that's the message I got from that, and then this one below. And there's very much Mary Magdalene energy all over those two symbols. And then on the next page, I did one again, just in general, to see if I was getting any more messages here. And Benny kept coming up again. Remember, that came up before in the last read of Benny and the Jets, but also Bene, Bene, which Bene means good. So 2M and 5M were also coming up, as well as 2NM, S or U, Benny and Bunny, and then Sumly. And SUMM means sum, which also means highest or central point, the utmost degree, the amount or the total. Also the European catfish, and to say, swimming, bathing, dust, mud, I am, exist, suspicion, and mistrust, and to drink also come up. So I looked up 2M5 to see if anything would come up online. And what did come up, there was a bunch of stuff that wasn't related. But then Amendment 633 came up, which I didn't realize it was 12:30 a.m. now. We had just gone into the 26th, which is today, and today's number adds up to 33.6. And this was Amendment 633 from the USSC.gov website, the U.S. Sentencing Commission. It was Section 2M5.2a, where 1 is amended by striking quote-unquote 22 and inserting 26. And I was just listening to Ismail Perez and talking about the years when we'll be ready. And he was talking about anywhere from 24 to 28, but he was still predicting 24. And here they're telling me to strike 22 and inserting 26. So I don't know if that's related to that, but that's the message I was getting. And then the heading to chapter 2 here, part M, subpart 6, is amended by striking quote-unquote atomic energy and inserting nuclear, biologic, and chemical weapons and materials and other weapons of mass destruction. 2M5M Bunny. What is a viewfinder on a camera? Everything you need to know. That's what came up. And then at 12:48, what came up was an address, 25 Benny Street in Newark, Delaware, not New Jersey, but Delaware. And that was a sighting from August 20th, 2007. So then after doing all this right before bed, which I don't normally do that, this is when me and my daughter both woke up late remembering our dreams. And I never remember my dreams. You know, all of my messages are from meditation or downloads that I get while I'm just receiving messages. When I do my videos with you guys, I'm automatically receiving messages. But normally I don't remember my dreams. I do remember my dreams. If I wake up sometimes and fall back asleep in the morning, I might remember my dreams. So both me and my daughter both were saying to each other as we woke up and saw each other, I can't talk, I have to write down my messages. And my daughter said she had done the same thing. So some of the things that I saw as I was waking up yesterday morning, the first was a place I swear I've been, and it felt like I'd been there in this life. Or if I hadn't, why had no one ever shown me this? Because it was beautiful. But when I'm seeing it now, I know I'd been there before, except there was water there. It was like a deep valley underneath a cliff. And I was in a college, and I didn't understand how I got in the college building. I didn't remember coming in, but I found a gym that I knew I could go out through to find an exit out to figure out where I am. So I come out of the college door, and I'm on the cliff above this shoreline where there was houses on the shoreline when I remembered being there before. But I didn't necessarily see those houses this time. I just saw a big open mud area. But it was beautiful. Like it had all these circular designs in the mud, and it was gorgeous, and it was this deep cliff, you know, down at the bottom where the ocean was and the houses were. And then on the other side of the cliff, from the ocean where I was, there was another building, like a castle-like building that was part of the college, as well as another one off to my right, above the valley that I was looking at. But it was beautiful. It was so, so beautiful, like anyone would have wanted to go there. So, and I swear that I'd been there before with someone I know in this lifetime, that she had taken me there. But now it was like mud creations, and I quoted like intestines in circles. It was just beautiful, with homes. But I remember when I was there last time that I was scared of the ocean, that it was rough or that there would be sharks in there. And I'm a good swimmer, so I'm not afraid of the water. But the college above the valley, and more buildings that were like castles. And then I got scared that it might have sharks in it before, but I was just remembering back to this because there was no water there now. I couldn't believe I'd never been there before because it was so beautiful. How could someone have not told me about this? And then the next scene I was in water again, but it was like an elevator in a building that went up to an upper floor, and then you come out of the elevator and there's this cement platform which then goes right into this water. But it wasn't a pool, it was a huge ocean that it was like a football field long from what I could see, because I wasn't seeing behind me. It felt like an ocean. But you'd take like a football field to a store that was on the land about a football field away from where the elevator was for the hotel. And I just remember floating on a raft, but I had my bag on the raft with me, and I felt unsafe. It's like I had jewelry with me because I didn't feel safe leaving it in the room. But I was also Indian, Asian Indian. I still felt I was me, but I was Indian. and I had to keep my jewels with me. And the water was very beautiful and clear, aqua like a pool, but it wasn't. It was like an ocean water. And I remember my sister being there, but she had gone to the elevator without me, and there were other people on rafts in the water, but I wanted her to wait for me. So I went back to the platform, but I just kept remembering my jewelry is not safe. And then I dropped something when I got to the elevator, and a man picked up this black piece of jewelry that had black stones. I don't know what it was, but he asked what it was, and I said, it's not valuable. So, and then I went down in the elevator back to the room. So there's this energy, not only in what I was seeing, but as me being in bed still, I was curling up like a little girl would, you know, when she's being fidgety because she's nervous, she doesn't feel safe, like curling your toes or, you know, kind of pushing one foot into the other. All of that energy was coming up right there. And then I also saw an elephant with a headband on. It looked like a wool sheep, like literally the sheepskin headband on an elephant. So I looked up the elephant to see if there was any relationship to that. And the first thing I saw was something on Etsy, which wasn't what I was looking for, but it was very similar to something I have from my sister-in-law that she made, you know, little sheep and a deer that were made out of kind of wool energy. So I was looking up what kind of elephant might have lamb's wool on them, and a documentary came up from Forbes.com, When Lambs Become Lions, sheds light on elephant poaching. There is a Kenyan proverb that says, an empty stomach will turn many lambs into lions, especially in the Kenyan bush here. Wanting to understand the poacher's need to care for their family, and then one's need to also save the elephants. So this is an article or a video that somebody, or a movie that they were doing about this. So the elephant, what they were surprised about in doing this article is that the elephant gets poisoned first, and they imagined it to be a very traumatic event, but it wasn't. It took 8 to 12 hours for the elephant to finally die, when they would finally trumpet, which was a sign to all that they were dying, as the poachers would then run in, and the rangers would then run in as well to catch them. So again, there's the polarities coming in. What he learned, though, is that the poachers hadn't been paid in months, so it was just as bad for them as it was for the poachers. Both sides did agree when they interviewed them that if the rangers were actually paid more, and actually paid, that there would be definitely less poaching. Elephants don't harm humans, they are not food, and they are not violent. There's no reason to kill them. They are a keystone species that impact the whole ecosystem. And again, that was an article from Forbes.com. There are about 400,000 and 60,000 respectively left in Africa and Asia, and Sumatran only about 2,500. And the new thing in China, since they can't sell ivory, is they sell their skin for medicine, and they call them blood beads. So now they're making necklaces and bracelets out of elephant skin instead of ivory. So you may not even know what blood beads are and buy it not knowing it's elephant skin. In Africa, they're still poaching the tusks a lot, but they go after the masculine because it's bigger, and then it again takes away from the ability to have birth. So yeah, and then the name Devin Baker came up. And then my daughter had different energies, but it was also about going into feeling unsafe. And she was having more traumatic kind of demon energy come up. But she was okay though. She said she didn't feel pain when she should have felt pain. And she responded like a mature person would, as opposed to the way she may have thought when she was younger. And then as we were retrieving our dreams and exchanging them with each other, Jen saw a blue jay in our front tree, which we haven't seen one because they don't usually come around in the winter much. And then there was a young black cat, not our usual black and white cat, but a different black cat, which there were 3 black kittens that birthed under my deck a couple of years ago. So I'm wondering if it was them, because they definitely look young, because they were very fluffy. And they were just giving us the evil stare. They were sitting in the crease of my tree out front and staring up at the blue jay up in the tree. It was very cool. And then I couldn't get the blue jays on camera because they'd flown away too soon. But we did see 3 of them across the street. And then the black cat sitting in our tree kind of staring up at us, but they were watching the blue jay. So I'm going to roll the die. And then I have my first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deck read. And the second one I just did today was 6 reads and very profound. So if you're going to listen to everything, make sure you listen to the one from today, which I'm going to do second. It's longer than the first one. Very, very significant messages and energies that came up. So I really urge you to watch that one. All right, so from the die for the Twin Flames today, January 26th, the Page of Wands, 2023. We have the 9 over here, which is Virgo. It's the number of endings, of compassion, of the one and the all. Also the 9th month. And then we have, again, the North Node, which is Taurus right now. And we have the energy of Gemini over here, which also looks like the Roman numeral 2 of the Divine Feminine, the higher self. So Gemini is also the twins. It also is Mercury and communication energy, along with the Taurus North Node following that energy regarding endings and compassion. And Virgo, Taurus, Gemini. And Virgo and Gemini are both mutable, and Taurus is fixed energy. And perhaps being a go-between. And perhaps a go-between Taurus and a Gemini. That could be. All right, so let's get going with these messages here. This is my first channeled read. Sorry, I was just out in the rain today, so there's so much stuff on my phone. Sorry. It's not dirty, it's just either blanket fluff or I was out in the rain. Okay, so here is the top deck is that the journey? Yeah. It's the journey of love. And then we have my mixed deck, which is both the Lenormand and the KIPPER decks together. The third one is the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook. The fourth one is the half deck of Rider-Waite, the one that's all yellow right there, which is just the characters. And then the bottom is Nature's Whispers. The left is the underlying energies. The right is the piles I had to count. And 3 decks were basically 3 decks. 3 cards were pulled from each one. So I'm going to pull them in a little bit closer so you can see better. There we go. All right, so the piles at the end of these decks were 2, 6, 2, 3, 4. And so 2, 6, 2, 3, 4 didn't have anything because the number's too big. You don't usually get anything with that in gematria. But 26, 23 did. And it came up as, I miss holding your hands to keep them warm. The second entry was JFK Jr. alive. And the 5th entry was giving Jen answers. And my daughter's name is Jen, so I thought that was interesting. So it's also 26 to 34, which is the Page of Wands to the Energetic Exchange, the EE or the WW, which is the Rolling Stone. And the Page of Wands and the King of Wands, stability or freedom. So again, there's that polarity of the 5 and the 4 of freedom and structure. So I started this energy here in the underlying energies with the 18 of distant shores, the 8 of the false person, the dragon, and the 9 of cups, the 45 of empowerment. The purple moon 4 of distant rough seas or distant shores and rough seas ahead. And seasons AB was coming up. And AB came up as abdomen the other day. And again, the solar plexus. But also season aboves. And then Oves came up, which is a restaurant down the shore. So there could be something about going to the beach. But seasons AB and seasons in the sun had just come up the time before as well. February 5th was also the 4th moon I had given in a reading back in October, I guess it was, for November, December, January, and then February was the next fourth full moon. So February 5th full moon is definitely supposed to be something significant. And now it's coming up again, 2-5 was 4 full moons, which also come up now as May's full moon from now. the dance with the false person, the naked tango in romance of the man and the woman with their dragon eye on you. And again, it was reminding me of the black cat this morning staring at us through the window. Alone satisfied purging to empower meant, which remember meant is intention, and the 45 of stability versus freedom of the 4 and the 5, and what is your or their intent? What is your or their focus? In romancing the stone, in the 8 dance, where the 8 breaks up half and half to 3 and E, and then when it's the infinity, it's the M and the W. Again, why it's the rolling stone, and it fits into the toroidal field diagram as well, which I've shown you with the double diamond star and all that. So then it's 1233, which is the hanging man and the Christ vibration, which is Jesus on the cross. The underlying energy of the 20, which is the sweet soul rising here. And again, JC on the cross, being that sweet soul rising from his body on the cross, released in Judgment Day, in the wake-up call, and then the energy of it's time to get up, and waking our kids up. The 59 of the Temple of Lady Liberty, where all roads meet at the altar there. As I always told you, there's an Atlantic altar there above the Statue of Liberty. The etheric oyster shell with red eyes at the top, next to the portal of ancestors. And if anyone had looked on my Instagram, I had posted what looked like a shadow of Cookie Monster on my neighbor's roof yesterday or the day before, a couple days ago, I think. And here is that etheric oyster shell with red eyes coming up as that same kind of energy next to the portal of ancestors, coming through in the temple at this etheric altar at the Statue of Liberty, and then Noah on his ark, ready and picking up to take the bride on board. The 52 of the Ancient Ones and the lady receiving the light, big downloads here, coming face to face to see if she can take it, in the being face to face in the Ancient One's lights. With the portal there streaming in, the New York arc, and the 22, which is for me 5D stationing in her loving arms, holding space and loving all that is, the 5D Fool's Journey here. The 22 is also the Fool with the open heart, taking a leap of faith. And again, there's that leap of faith at the 5D, because that's a station point. It's a platform where then you jump off in any direction, which is kind of relating back to my dream again, where there was a platform coming up the elevator and then going into the ocean. So New York Arc at the Statue of Liberty, the 22 stationing in her loving arms, holding space and loving all that is, on the 5D Fool's Journey. The 64 of the Sensual Awakening, and remember the 64 is the 10 of Swords, which can be ending pain or dealing with pain, or reverse for me is the swords falling out, which is bliss, the bliss state of where the pain releases from you. The 66 of the Queen of Pentacles coming together in the space between the Taurus, the apple core, the spiraling at the Golden Gate, coming together with Linda and Paul, and that always comes up with this card. So it looks like Linda and Paul McCartney walking hand in hand through a record, which is the cyclone and the vortex. So Linda and Paul walking through their record or the vortex, and then the 56 of the Dance of the Planets, where yesterday I had seen, at the time I wrote this, which was the 25th, so that yesterday it would have been the 24th, I saw electrons circling around the tree in like an ellipsis energy, like the planets, and trying to remember the word for that. And the ring around the rosy coming up here, the spiraling heart, holding hands, and again we got that message of I miss holding your hands and keeping them warm. Holding hands through the cyclone and the vortex, in the cycle of one, the cyclone. The vortex, which is the vort, which is forward and away, hours forward, our escape route. Rotten, spoiled, and dirty X also comes up with that, and the X, the vort X. Knowing and keeping to oneself in the dance of the planets, which is the DAN, D-A-N, which remember D-A-N is also DNA, and the word and, which is the space between. And the dance with CE is then the seal or the whispering bench that's one equal and congruent to the other. And then the O of the human embodiment of source, the F of digamma or the twin flame energy, the twin ray energy. And then the planets, which is the play and the nets, or the PLA is also APL, which is the apple. And the nets is also the capital M, which for me is Christ, and ETs. So through the rings of space-time, or the heart, in the 18 of distant shores of the OO, the cheeks of the apple, which is the toroidal field, and then the donut, which is looking at the toroidal field from the top down. The donut side and the top down. To be clear, the 0 point field. So they're showing me both to make sure you understood. We're talking about the 0 point field, the core of the apple that you can see in the vortex from above like a cyclone, or you can see like an apple in the hourglass energy, where both cheeks touch in the middle, the core of the apple, the 0 point field. And at 1251, which is the hanging man and the king of swords, the first energy here was the 31 of the Christ flame, but in pain, in the chaos of life. And the 23 of the king of wands across the waters, as she is in the wall of the cyclone, seeing his light at the end of the tunnel. With 60 of peace and riding the cosmic wave, double Dutch in swan love, with 2 cards then of 69 and 68 of the Ace of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles, of contemplation, of dropping into your heart as the student of life, spiraling student of life. So at 136, the leap to 36, or Atlas, 10 of wands, or the 1 of the masculine, or the magician, and the 4 moons, the group, and the king of wands is peace, contemplating the offer to be the student of life, or an opportunity to drop into his heart. At 138, which being the masculine or the magician, and the Queen of Cups, or the Mary Magdalene energy, and the underlying energy of the 41, the Ace of Cups and well wishes, and the 24 of the thief who burned bridges with the Queen of Cups in a lover's breakthrough with the King of Wands on the other side, the Emperor's court, or 2 women courting to marry, or the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups, daughters in the breakthrough about their parents, the Emperor and the Empress, or grandparents perhaps, or family and how they came to be. And then sirens were going on outside at 143. The masculine and the 3 of Cups are coming together in joy. So this energy can also be the energy of Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups, as Queen of Cups comes up as Mary Magdalene, but the Queen of Wands now as Lilith goes into Leo this month, already went into Leo. So Dr. Jekyll and Hyde come up here, as well as hospitalization and IVs, doctor and patient relationships, dictation, life and death, and the mortician and the tomb, in the dance of sovereignty and dependence, in a dictatorship. With the 22, remember the platform, of the official person, or stationing for the fool's journey, with the false person, or the tango between man and woman with their masks on, or perhaps between you and yourself as Mary Magdalene or Lilith, or 2 very different dances with platform between, an officiant or marriage in a life or death situation, or perhaps a shotgun situation, or the Emperor and the Empress getting in bed with the wrong kind of people, who could be a politician, police, or military, or militant perhaps, bridging dark business with dark pleasure here. And then the 42 of the 2 of Cups in the northeast direction, or any direction, and then the blue jay coming up, and the hanging of JC, and JC coming together, literally those letters, comes up as the energy of the Taurus, with direction though, not a straight projection up and down of the energy, but directed in one way or another. So JC and alignment with cracking the whip, with the 39 and 39 lashes then comes up of the rod and the staff. The justice and the truth and the balance with Cancer, Leo, and Libra here, with the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups, finding peace riding the waves, and Lilith at play in Leo here as well, or the Queen of Wands is Leo and the Queen of Cups, Cancer, could be here. At 154, again, the leap to the Page of Swords, which can be that Gemini or Mercurial energy, which could include Virgo as well. But the 1 is the Magician, which also can be Gemini or Virgo. And the 6 cards here, in the transition of the wealthy man, or Scorpio Page of Wands, of great fortune, or 2 transitioning to the year 26, which I didn't realize the relationship there between this and what I just said. So again, the energy of culminating in 26, but 26 has come up for me before as the year of culmination, that the Page of Wands would be that time of inspiration. And the 26 is 13 and 13, or capital B, so BB coming up here as well. So I don't know if Netanyahu's involved here. But also 1313 can just be double transition. And there is this message today about the leap there and back. So 2 transitions, right? You can't leap out until you know how to leap back again. But there's also gold harvesting in the fields of grain, or the US. Discerning and destiny of high vibe Page of Pentacles, Libra or Taurus, or mature man with Atlas contemplating the world changes or where to strike next. In other words, dealing with gold. With busy occupation or occupied by energetic exchange or the arrows of love, or perhaps monetary exchange, or sowing child, or manifesting a little girl, or weaving a plan for or at 18. So that could be a child coming of age as well. Or once 4 moon cycles are up, or that could be now on February 5th or May. Or when one graduates, or when twins are 18, or when Taurus or Scorpio switch, that North Node and South Node, Taurus and Scorpio switch to Aries and Libra, which is July 18th. Or man with his lawyer or financial advisor is meeting about family planning here. So at 202, which is space between 2 feminines, or divine feminines, or higher selves, and the underlying energy of the shark and the elk, planning or attack, and the elk with a head wound, or an accident or event, or wound to their image or ego, perhaps a mark or strike against them, or Southeast or San Francisco fires, or chef that's fired or fired up and not eating right, a shell fire, or shell explosive, or contracting or reflecting here, as the wolf is stunned and can't help but watch, getting to the root eye issue, or the infection in the gland, or wounding of what the eye has seen, where the higher self then took over so you couldn't deal with it at the time, to dragon or drag on and breathe so that you could still breathe and survive or still live. Your higher self took over for you when you couldn't deal with something or see something that you couldn't take in, or put on a ventilator to breathe for you, or literally a shark attack to the death and you saw it. It could have been a loved one, and Spirit's connecting with me, unable to unsee what you saw. And so at times the higher self will take over, and that's why someone has no memory of it. The 2, until of course they raise their vibration and then come into their higher self. At 209, which is the space between the 2 and the 9, which is the divine feminine and the 1 and the all, or the higher self, and the 9 of 1 and the all, of the hermit, of going within, and compassion for oneself and others, one who attacks, or loan sharks here perhaps, and big brother. At 210, the divine feminine or higher self again, and the 10 of high vibe or destiny. The first card out here is the graceful gazelle and the elephant, which we brought up already. The graceful gazelle is calm, serene in the heat, gazing at 2 right angles, or 2 L's, or Ellie and broken elephant, still clearing with each step they take, as broken as they are, holding the flame in their trunk. Both Africa and Asian elephants targeted for tusks and skins. It's all in the eyes. The solar plexus, the dance of the quantum entanglement, and smoothing out the lines, creating new paths that have not been there before. The snake is the collective awakening, the spiraling effect that clears the way, the tunneling effect, the dominoes, the rippling in the water, and the channeling of the humans, the suspended animation, accordion, a chord connection, the sine wave snake, or in other words, SN is Saturday night, a key flowering here, a message of innocent love and peace, with 2 cards, the cobra swans, in a crowning moment of when the twins are ready, the teacher will come. Co-swans enlightenment, JC light intent, and the underlying energy at 220 of the divine feminine or higher self and the wake-up call or source energy backing her up, the underlying energy of the sovereign student, of the invite or opportunity, or 2 grounded siblings with justice, with the 9 of wands and the wounded warrior on guard or in court, perhaps as dark night or Scorpio willing to walk right over them to get to the Queen of Pentacles and partner for happiness, or be the 9 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups as one sovereign in their practical nature and one sovereign in their emotions. With Libra, Sagittarius, Scorpio, and lots of Earth here. The 6 of Cups and the King of Wands. JC partner, Gazelle, Hermit, or kids, and then the King of Wands watching over them. The King of Cups and the Empress may be partners as well, or this could be mother and son. Perhaps here brothers or childhood besties no longer see eye to eye as the King of Wands looks back at their relationship in the past as the King of Cups partners with the Empress instead, or Taurus. The Queen of Cups and the High Priestess may be having trouble sleeping or sharing lots of dreams remembered, or discovering psychic abilities with mother or sister, or suffering in silence between the Queen of Cups and High Priestess. This could be a Gemini or Virgo in a bold move to manifest the King of Pentacles status, or the Queen of Cups Cancer-ish and the King of Pentacles Virgo-ish, and the Knight of Pentacles offering to help the Page of Swords step it up, or message back with the Hermit shedding light or mediating them, or water, earth, and air, which is, there's so much of this that comes up in a whole different way in today's read as well. At 238 is the Divine Feminine or Higher Self and the Queen of Cups, that Mary Magdalene energy, and the underlying energy of the 39, which is the Knight of Cups, and that Jesus and getting 39 lashes, with a clear endeavor here. The 48 of walking away and within of hope and happiness, no matter the season, and the 43 that love matters. As one ship sails, a bird opens up to another plane. 40 of the Page of Cups to show your support to the vulnerable and the innocent, and the man in the canoe or the whispering bench, and the blue birds, the flowers and the fairies, and the 17 of spreading infinite blessings and stardust that you are, the 50 of the potential gateway, or the 10 of Cups magic tree with connections, and the 46 of the little girl and her unicorn in gratitude and appreciation, and with circles of rainbows, and purging for empowerment as well, or empowering intention. At 243, all stars or suns, because suns are stars, so the energy of the purging for empowerment, all stars or suns. And then the first 2 cards coming out here is 9 and 49, which is the Hermit and the 9 of Cups. Painting a perfect sun coming out from behind the clouds, and the moon exposing all their bright colors in the perfect setting to heighten your vitality. The 42 of 2 of Cups, and let love be your beacon. Be lighter and blush, allowing your natural colors to shine through. The 35 of the Wounded Warrior in the culmination of a vision that needs to die, and the 44 of Seeking Beauty, of Hercules, her harvest, with a veil of wishes or intent in the borealis waters, with candles and dear ones' attention. Esther Williams, 1944's Bathing Beauty, dip into his history, at Coral Gables at the Venetian Pool in Miami. And the 26 of the Page of Wands to be true to your heart, that lion's heart, of Lilith, and the 6 of the big picture of love and family, and healing the root of the big picture of the South Pole, right, to flower at the crown. As the blue jay comes in and multiple ships sail, in the distance a conch shell or hermit that's sailing in. The peacock be true to your heart of gold. The big picture here, seeing the mask and allowing it to come off, allowing all of your natural beauty to come through, healed and flowering at 2:55, the Divine Feminine and her truth. And so then I was watching Michael Salla, and they were talking about the different places that Mark Domitio had been abducted to. And so they were talking about different military bases, Diego Garcia, which is in the middle of the Indian Ocean, Dulce, which is New Mexico, and then it brought me back to the presidential safe haven in Raven Rock, PA, as a base in case there's any it's like a nuclear bunker there. But there's also, what we're not supposed to know is that there's ET ships going into these places. Okay, so and they also talk again about the O blood, and that reptilians don't like to eat their own blood, right? So if you have reptilian in you, or you have O blood, you may be taken for slavery, but you won't be eaten because they won't eat their own blood. So we get into the second message here, and again, there's very profound messages here, and some of them will. So I like when they repeat, because that means they're confirming the energies that I got the first time. So here is this message, and I used some different decks for this one today. All right, so the top one is, again, the Journey of Love, but then I use my Past Life deck, which is a Brian Weiss deck, and then the Ascension deck, and then my Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook, and the half deck of Rider-Waite, which is just people, and then my mixed deck again of Lenormand and the Kipper deck at the bottom there. So I'm going to bring them in closer so you can see better. But the same setup, pulling 3 cards. Sometimes a 4th will come out with them. And then the pile of cards I have to count at the end. So this was today. And today is January 26, 2023. All right, so this one was done between 10:42 and 10:48 when I pulled all the cards. And the piles at the end were all ones. So it was 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then the final one was 2. And also in the Past Life deck, it came out in pyramid form, and so did the half deck. So it ended up being 8 and 11 there. But they originally were all 1 card each, except for the last one, which was 2. And of course, when you have 6 decks, gematria doesn't bring up a result for that big a number. But I looked up 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 with 5 ones, as well as what came up when I wrote all the numbers down was 432 and 42 as well, and 18s and 2s. That could be 12 as well. So I looked up 432, which was Kayla, Princess Diana, Maya, Look Right Here, the Creator. Methamphetamine came up as well as Little Horn, the Hexagon, Urgent, God's Language. And then the number 42 is Anna, Fame, Bul Hadad, Gem, Mecca, Allah, but with 2 L's, A-L-L-A, and then Mike, M-I-C, which came up as something I looked up the other day, and then N-B, capital N, lowercase b. The number 18 was Big Die, capital I, little I, Gaia, E-H-E, capital F, 2 lowercase f's, and then Head, Hada, and capital K, lowercase h. The number 8 was just everything that's 8. The capital H was the first thing that came up there, as well as DD, BF, AG, CE, FB, BEA, GA, and EC. 5 ones, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is Battle for your soul is real. It is not a joke. The controller of this world are not just about the money. The philosophy of insane sickness, rise to the top, has implications which the elite understand. So then I went into the read at 11:03. The 11 of justice, the 3 of the empress, are abundance, and the underlying energy of, and that's the planet as well, the alignment of the earth. The underlying energy of the 8 of distant shores came up again, and the energy of the male versus the female, Serapis Bay, which is number 41. the stingray, the high priestess, and then the one of the main male. The purple moon and 4 moons, and distant, which the word tant came up with, dissing the tant in distant. Purple moon, 4 moons, and distant so many, such a long time. Older lady, and then Guma came up, which is so weird because that's what I used to call my mom. Power, dominion, ant or string, as in music. Truth, fantasy, and rumor. So again, the opposites, the truth and the rumors. And then shores brought up Shoshones again. There was a reference there to the Shoshone tribe. And again, the message of dis, gumma, ant, strings, truth and humor. Fantasy over so much, over such a long, long time. The energy of sh and ores, which is sword in the stone, because ore is metal in stone. And then the energy of the ore, which has lots of definitions in it, but it was also coming up as Stan's seal or approval in grace, which I had personal references to that, but they were coming up in the definition. So show respect was also coming up here. And the energy of RES, so shores is SHO as in the Shoshone, and then RES as reference, or RES, which means residue or reservation. Also means residence, resolution, guts, scales of a fish, and the liver. And remember, liver is also one who lives. Reservation, nothing and anything. Resurrection, nothing and anything. The head of a 4-pedal cattle or game, or the herd of cattle. The small of the back, matter, issue, affair, story, history, and then again, her story and history come up as 2 different things. History is his story, and her story is considered a tale. The commonwealth, state, deed, circumstance, property, and effects. And so shores is the shy and reserved, or someone with reservations, due to her story versus history, and Molly's game. Dispower and the strings attached, but show respect. In history, or his recorded story, she was seen and not heard, with a tale to tell of distant shores, about a male and a female, back to back, and Serapis Bey's white flame to transmute with the 4th ray of the Egyptian, which was what he was called, who worked with Metatron to suffuse the Great Pyramid with cosmic wisdom, energy at the time of its construction, the fire in its belly of the pyramid, the eruption of the mountain within, and the seraphim harmony, the sting ray, plugged in and turned on, activated in the lion's heart of Mary Magdalene, the high priestess, higher self of purity, and the virgin, and the one of the main male. So there's a reference to Mother Mary as well. So the high priestess 13 and the J transitioning to jump, leaping to the top dog in the reconciliation of Serapis and Seraphim, Serapis and Seraphim, where Sarah is evening out to close, shut, bind, and the bars across the doors, the colostrum, the bee stings, the enemy, police, and the greenhouse effect at 11:33. Again, the alignment with the Christ vibration in the greenhouse effect as the trash truck drives by. With Serapis and Seraphim, the Serapis and the Seraphis with the M. The evening of the scales, the evening out of the scales, the weight of the pies, which is the circle with the line down the middle, right? Half and half. And the phi of the squish down circle with the line down the middle of co-creation. For pi equals phi without pressure, right? Because phi is just the circle under pressure. As otherwise it would be the same as pi. And phi is with the weight of the world, and pi is sharing it equally. But by carrying the weight also experienced off planet. Damn it, Janet. A net. So Janet's coming up as a net. So we have damn it and Jan it and plan it. So the net in a leap of the play or catch, at the climax to experience and keep safe, in the fallout, the ash, the bright light, in the fourth quarter, which then wanes to the new moon. At 11:42, the alignment with the Two of Cups and the 63 of the Nine of Swords, and getting slammed on the bridge as the 52 Queen of Swords, receiving light from the Ancient Ones and being fully exposed in the middle of the bridge, receiving the light. In the breaking of the King of Pentacles, 65, the smashing together of them in the vortex of the King and the Queen, where the K is the one less than the Q, which is the sword and the stone, and the 46 of the inner children, just for a moment having joy of the children being together and receiving the light, the joy of the Divine Feminine in breaking his fall, catching him in her net, holding spaces. The net is something, a space between. Again, the 11:46, and I got big connection here. The joy that she feels in you allowing her to care for you and catch you when you fall. And again, there's this wound for the masculine that they have to be the one to save everyone, not the feminine. That man isn't the savior, but it is the woe of man that saves him in allowing evening to be there for each other. The 62 of the choice, to be imprisoned or not to be imprisoned, allowing the release, and the 61 of the one who takes risks to love, that she takes a risk to love, to release her from her own prison and anxiety. The 28 of the sacred convergence of the twin flames. And the GCE came up here in convergence, which is the gross conceptual error. The global campaign for education and the general certificate of education, which ED is the extra dimensional and Mr. Ed, and the UCation of UCA and the TION, where UCA is the reign of high, tall, and loud. And it also could be the University of California or Canada, or Mr. Ed and the tiger lioness of the Tyon, and the high, tall, loud reign between them, love reign on me, of Metatron and Michael as thunder and lightning in the electromagnetic field between the extra-dimensional and the totem tiger lioness to the top dog to co-create the tiger lioness that equals the source girl connection of the ESS. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Sophia. At 11:55, the alignment with the truth of the Divine Feminine and Sophia. So phi she is with human connections. So reflective with human connections. At 11:56, the 56 of the Two of Swords. And then the 56 card comes up with the dance of the planets. After the 28 of the twin flames and the sacred convergence. The sacral ED equals sacred. The womb to the extra-dimensional leap in coming together at the 9/11 memorial in a projected performance of white lights of 3 moons. An audience at the sea, in the water, with a few twos there, and a hand reflecting across the water, hands across the water, and heads across the sky, as Linda and Paul casually and causally walk through the record, the cyclone, the cycle of one of the Akash, in the ellipsis, to fall short or leave out, in the ellipsis, the oval, the condensed ring around the rosy, the risen at the Y in the road, to the vortex, the 4th moon, in the sacred convergence of the dance of the planets, to themselves, in the music of the spheres, in the round, the knights of the round table, where all the swords come to the center, where all paths or swords in the stone lead home, while sharpening them all at the same time. The 18 of the leap to dance on other shores. In the release of the prison planet at 12:06, the hanging man and the lovers and the space between them. The 6 is also love, family, and community. And 12 is also wisdom. and the space between them, the mothering and the wise man, and the space between, in the release of the prison planet. Damn it, Janet, a safety net through her love, as I was getting big connect and a little bit of crying as well. And then I was getting, my love does it good, oh. So I was coming up here again with the 61, because she risks to love. And the twin flame, sacred or sac red, or sacred root convergence, collapse of the lower timelines and density in the dance-off planet, to keeping to themselves in the purple moon, of Linda and Paul, of Brad and Janet, and Esther and William, the middle names, hand in hand, right, in the middle space, the polarities converging into one. At 12:12, Rocky Horror saw show his heels. These are the different shows from the Rocky Horror website, his website, or the website rather. So the RockyHorrorFandom.com, this is coming from, at 12:12 p.m. today. Rocky Horror show his heels, the Brad and Janet show, and Revenge of the Old Queen, Rocky Horror and the Second Coming. 1973 to 75 were the initial productions. At a friend's wedding, where Janet Weiss catches the bouquet, and then Brad Majors confesses becoming engaged. In the drive to Denton to visit Dr. Everett V. Scott, which is EVS, which is EVS, which cracked me up, when the car breaks down in the rain, ending up at the castle of Frank and Stein Place, where Riff Raff invites them in, where Riff Raff is RR if and only if and af, perhaps railroaded to if and only af, with the Time Warp party going on, revealing Janet's sacred and naive nature. So she runs, and he tries to comfort her, and then they run into the master of the house, or the mansion, Frank Enfurter, transvestite from transsexual Transylvania, or the transmuting, transforming in Transcendance, Pennsylvania, invite to the lab and stripped from their wet clothes to witness the birth of his creation, with Maid Magenta and Groupie Columbia, and Rocky Horror is a blonde, muscular man, kind of like a Pleiadian, performing the Sword of Damocles, with Eddie, who's Columbia's boyfriend, who's in the freezer, and then gets axed. He seduces both Brad and Janet, especially Brad, leading to, so he seduces them each, all right? So he seduces Brad by being his feminine and seduces her as masculine. I think that's how it was, unless it was the other way around. But he does seduce Brad, leading to Janet seducing Rocky back, caught by all, including Dr. Scott, who came by looking for his nephew, Eddie. And there's that Mr. Ed reference there, too. But Frank suspects Doctor of working for the government to find flying objects there, and that Brad and Janet are working for him. So the dinner ends up being Eddie, as Janet falls into Rocky's arms, the innocent one, and then Frank gets enraged and turns them into stone. So they decide to go home, but Riff Raff and Magenta use their antimatter guns to kill him, and then they release the humans before returning to transsexual. Brad, Janet, and the Doctor are now superheroes. The perpetrator, the victim, and the savior. In the sequels of Janet, she's pregnant with Frankenfurter's baby and hits reality TV at 12:33, again, Jesus Christ hanging on the cross. So, and there's that reference of Jesus dying and then Rocky dies in the movie, or Frankenfurter rather. So the couple and the doctor and the mad scientist, the maid who's an ET, as well as Riff Raff who are ETs, the groupie and her dying beau, and the new creation, which is Rocky, and the doctor who's now left alone out in the cold in this equation of twos. And Eddie must have had non-zero blood since he was eaten by the ETs. And the couple leaves for distant shores after experiencing everything they've ever feared in order to be freed from it, and then keeping to themselves in the purple moon. From being in the middle of a bridge exposed to all the elements, to water under the bridge, going with the flow, with metal now integrated into them in the rolling stone, the sword in the stone, the sword or the S word in the path of one. To shit is to transmute, to quiet the bowel sounds after shit hit the fan and fractured them all over the place. Then calming down, subsiding the residual to bring the fractals home and put Humpty Dumpty back together again. The sword is only temporary, you see, for the pearl to be threaded, sewing all of the parts back together, and then tossing the needle in the haystack and reaping the rewards of your efforts and your effervescence. At 12:47, which is the hanging man and the 4 to 7 of the synchronicities, but also the heart to the crown, the energy of the nightmare before Christmas here, the evening of Mary, before, or the letter B and 4, transition of the 4th quarter horse, or the best in show, and Christmas. So the nightmare before Christmas is the evening of Mary before Christ's Mass, before Pinocchio became a real live boy, and in the nightmare before Christmas, you remember, they sew everything back together. So Rocky Horror Picture Show is a projection of a new innocent projected into human form of Mary and her E.T. walk-in. Mother Mary and Jesus was her walk-in, and then Mary Magdalene and J.C. were the Divine Masons coming up as a walk-in. That she is the human path, and he is the toroidal field, projecting the direction and the flow of the mountains and the valleys. As his sword, elemental effect, my dear Watt son, now through the magnetic pull, roll as one, the rolling stone on the path of one, where she travels the human path, and he, as his higher self, walks in the door. She goes through the leaps in, discovering the way back after leaping out. I'm sorry, that's he. So she travels the human path as he walks in the door. She goes through the leaps in. She then is experiencing his leaps in, discovering the way back after having leaped out. Bridging the two spaces and times and nursery rhymes. At 12:56 of the Hanging Man and the Two of Swords. The 50 of the cloak of the change supported by source. As I just got something in my throat. The 50 is that 10 of cups, right? The ultimate emotional fulfillment of the family. The cloak of the change that is supported here by source. When you're in yourself, you're with the all. That she and her 4 moons, he and his cloak and dagger, she's the water under the bridge, and he is the skyfall in the illusion of the clouds and the plasma ethers, like water under the bridge, reflecting each other. She through self-awareness, and he through traveling afar, the purple moon and the family of tune and harmony. The 47 of the synchronicities, and from the heart to the crown, the soft of the heart crown, as when he got to the heart from his root, he then leaped out to return to the crown. Synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, sending her messages from the castle in cloud 9 0 point field. The electromagnetic plasma ethers of the M&Ms, EM and M, which is literally EM, AND, and then M. And just think of them each as 3-letter words. So EM would be a space between, so there'd be a 0 space between E and M. Then AND is 3 letters, and then M is the middle letter with 2 spaces on either side. So it comes up as me, DNA, co-create. Me, ME space, Dan with another space, and then the space before capital N and M, which is capital N is Christ, and then M is Mary Magdalene. So it's literally the Christed aspect of Jesus comes back in after Mary Magdalene paves the human way through the difficult energy. The co-creation of one equal and congruent space where the masculine's been living multidimensionally. So, and I got that right from the get-go. I was told that my twin was living multidimensionally in the Pleiades. And it doesn't have to be the Pleiades, but it may be for all the divine masculines. Sorry about that. So there's definitely this energy of the feminine literally walking her way as the feminine on the ground level, because she's the feminine. She's already integrated the masculine and feminine into her. But because that would have been too much for the masculine, he's then taken off planet while he's still living in his human dimension, as his higher self, an aspect of him living in the Pleiades, doing the work of what the Pleiadians are doing in protecting the planet, and then coming together when he's finished that mission in the union with the twin by coming in as a walk-in as your masculine, but as his higher aspect, his higher self, and then being more like her, right? Having integrated his feminine. So again, she the water under the bridge, and he the sky fall, and the illusion of clouds and plasma ethers like water under the bridge, reflecting each other. She through self-awareness, and he through traveling afar. The purple moon and the family of tune in harmony here. The soft heart to crown is when he got, so I've explained this before, that the masculine starts in his root, the feminine starts in her heart. So when he got to his heart, he leaped out of his body to then lead this double life. So she activated him to his heart, which then caused him to leave his body. So he leaps out and then returns to the crown as a walk-in, which is why the feminine has such a hard time. She doesn't understand, and why she may have felt him without energy in his body, with synchronicities in heaven in their eyes, sending her messages from the castle in the cloud 9 0-point field. And then this energy of Michael and Metatron, and the Dan space, which is the DNA, and the space for Christ and Mary to be alone with each other. The co-creation of one equal and congruent space with Dan space and space for Christ and Mary to be alone with each other. The 21, that she is the moon, the whole with a W and complete, the purple moon, whole without the W, HOLE, and the pearl that he pierced, but she then threaded herself. So he did the first wound, he started the threading with the needle, but then she did the threading herself. With the 21 of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the 2 and the 1, with 21 is also the world, and the 3 of Pisces, which is the pi of the circle with the line down the middle, even, and then C's, shared C's with your eyes and emotions, and the C of the whispering bench, and the seizing of suspended animation. At 111, for all is fair or even in love and war, and the space between. So, and again, it got really sunny this afternoon too. A nice little sunny break there. Then the one card that came up after this was the 32 of the journey of good news and devotion to the small. And at 1, 2, 3, I came back from break in to leap right back in the underlying energies of the 1 of the masculine, or the leap, and the magician, and the 23 of the king of wands. When you couldn't travel, so here's that past life deck. When you couldn't travel, or you were in need of travel, this is where you got into the arts of keys and strings and instruments and vows, but without faith or trust, needing faith in something and thus knighted in search of the galaxy home and the shaman roots, which was then the knight or the knighting between, ended up Celtic in the Neanderthal versus the Cro-Magnon man. So in the dailymail.co.uk, and this was an article from March 30th, 2018, in 1868 they discovered in the Eyzines cave, it's Eyzies cave in the southwest of France, they found a 28,000-year-old body, 28 notice, the twin flame energy, with neurofibromatosis, a nerve-related tumor and spots on their skin. But this is the Cro-Magnon man. So the Neanderthal, or the caveman, was the original human who existed from about 200,000 years ago. And even in Wikipedia says they were either replaced or assimilated by the Homo sapien, which is when the Anunnaki seeded them and the encyclopedia says from 35 to 24,000 years ago, but Cryon said it was about 50,000 years ago that the Anunnaki seeded the human. So, and this was at 138. So the leap to the Queen of Cups here, or the masculine magician and the Queen of Cups, and the Celtic Neanderthal to the Homo sapiens. So they're saying that there's the main transition here was in the Celtic area when the Anu came in and seeded the Terra beings around 50,000 years ago with the Anunnaki DNA. After release from imprisonment, authority figures rule and release from war, spirituality and then religion would emerge. The energy of graduation, right? So once you complete graduation, then there's that feeling of elation like the end of the war, but then what? Now that there's no one to tell us what to do and when to do it, what do we do now? So the human goes within. When humans were freed, or slaves were freed, or Jews were freed, or women were freed, or any and everyone who's ever been a victim, which is everyone, are freed, losing their religion in order to find themselves. A book, a candle, a hand is all that's required. So we have the energy here of the cards at the end of angels and bridges and transport. Thomas the Tank Engine, or safe travel on the right track, or the masculine side. Again, bridging the masculine here with angels, bridges, and here's this reference of the angels bridging to the other side with transportation. Thomas the Tank Engine and ground control to Major Tom. Thomas the Tank Engine, or safe travel on the right or masculine track, no longer in communal living, in caves or in walls, no longer afraid to come down off their high Trojan horse, and no longer a need to hermit or be a nun or a monk, or monk key or nun key. And nun key is a star, the second brightest star in Sagittarius, or Mr. Ed. Right? The second brightest star of Mr. Ed and Mrs. Ed. So no more need to pray or wish upon a star, as you are a star, as lessons and blessings have been learned and received, as time has sped up. And in the clock in this picture is 1 or 2:51:21 or 2:52:20, depending on the perspective of the clock. So we have both the King and Queen of Swords here, as well as the 1 and 2 of the masculine and the feminine, and the 20 of the final judgment and the wake-up call to the 21 of being the whole, the world, and completed. So depending on your point of view, and all has already been written and or ascribed to, as angels and travel are no longer feared as unknowns, at the 11th hour of the divine masculine 9 to 3, or the divine feminine 8 to 2, or the dance to 2, and the 9 of the ending to 3, to the 3rd, and the dance of the feminine into the 2 of the union. The Holy Grail train to cross over to the other side, her fear of the community and his lessons of being alone, since she had been shunned by his family for being spiritual and not materialistic like they were, and he left to his own devices and sent to war for being committed to her, and both afraid to write any of their thoughts down, God forbid. So at 2:02, in the underlying energy of the space between the two higher selves, the underlying energy of Kuan Yin of 43, the Dolphins 23, and the Sun number 10. The Archangel retreats and the 50 of the ultimate family, and the air of number 12 being wise, and then Serapis Bey on top, which is the 41 of the Holy Grail. So Bey is B-E-Y, of being at the Y in the road, the 0 point field. And the joy of the King of Wands, the Mother and the Son, destined high vibration of the 10 of Cups family, and the retreat into emotional fulfillment. The intellect and seeing new perspectives, hanging out and being wise in Serapis Bey. The evening or the leveling out of the pie, the half and the half, to be at that 0 point with the Ace of Cups, self-love, spiritual love, and new love. The Holy Grail womb, solar plexus, and heart, which I often describe as the Holy Grail, the womb, solar plexus, and heart, which is the bridge between the Om and the ear, the sound and hearing it. The life bulb's perplexing path to the heart that inspires a breath and a light bulb moment, lighting up the crown. Children and dolphins in the sun at the Archangel retreat in the air of Serapis Bey, or evening pi. Sophia's transition, one equal and congruent to the other, to 0 point. The quantum entanglement and the untying of those knots to say yes in the heart and be open to the crown. At 2:11, the Divine Feminine, and the alignment of justice, truth, and balance, where then comes in, as the first card here, the 35 of the Wounded Warrior, which is Mary Magdalene here, and maintaining her truth while seeing the spirituality in all things. The Master of the Sixth Ray, raising dogma into spirituality. Her Ascension retreat is Marseille and Buttercup Yellow, but I believe that's Marseille with a C, because there's 2 Marseilles in the south of France, and the one I was close to was the Marseille with the C, not the common Marseille, which is a bigger city. Her Ascension retreat in Marseille and Buttercup Yellow. She understands being misunderstood or wronged. And Thoth then comes up at 2:14 on Valentine's Day, which is coming up. The 2 of the feminine or the higher self, and the 14 of the angels, of that balance and patience and a higher love. Thoth, which is to the nth degree, and to the nth degree with the 0 point between. The 31 of the 5 of Cups, which is the group, and all that energy in the group. Of Atlantis, he guided the Atlanteans to the Incas of South America, when every aspect, they believed, is in tune, which is the same thing my father said. The whole is automatically in harmony. The body's an orchestra, aligning each part of your life to a higher purpose, making it a celebration. The 15 of water and the emotional shadow aspects, where water carries love, where Poseidon is in charge with Neptune elemental Watson, can help clear your emotions from illness as well as relationship difficulties. So bless your water everywhere you go, to cause the vibration to rise to the music of the spheres, to your perfect divine blueprint, in order to start to reinstate it. Love, bless, and thank your water, and direct it around the planet. At 2:21, which again is the feminine or higher self, and the world, also the feminine and the masculine, the 2-1 and the 3. The first card here is the Buddha with number 33, which is the Christ vibration. So both Buddha and Christ, calling for peace, compassion, and enlightenment, expanding to all that is from a higher perspective, that you are asked to live in total harmlessness with all things at 2:22, the guidance counselors show. And this creates a safety for you, for all creatures will love you and feel safe with you. Excuse me, we are all one. Each person, animal, and sentient being, a beloved part of you. I am one with everyone and everything. At 2:23 to 24, which is the King and Queen of Wands, and the higher selves. The underlying energy of the fish out of water, and then the snake, the tiger, the swan, lamb, and stingray. So after the fish is out of water, in the collective awakening, the tiger stalks, the swan reflects, and the lamb targets itself as the stingray gets plugged in. The tiger and lamb reflect and activate to get plugged into the lioness, which is Mary Magdalene. Saturday night, TIS, 'tis the angel's path, current in water meadow, to wobble, to swing, in, on, and at the house, the ink of the blue rays plugged in, the tie-on of the tiger lioness, the fourth ray of harmony, and the sixth of Mary Magdalene, the 4/6 of the inner and outer children, with the 12th ray of Kuan Yin, the divine feminine love, energy, and compassion of the feminine energy in the divine masculine, to build the Antakarana bridge to source. The tiger lamb and the lion mouse, and the bear raccoon at play, the lamb with target practice, the mouse nervous Nelly, and the raccoon is depressed and masked, awakening from their long slumber as the collective. The underlying energies is the divine masculine as the divine feminine with child, children, or pet, and the one who's depressed. At 3:02 of the Empress and thy priestess with space between, or is that the planet and abundance, and the higher self with space between, and the underlying energy of the Knight of Cups, freeing the Fool from injustice, of the Two of Cups, connecting justice to the wounded warrior's temptation, or swearing in, or swearing revenge, as the devil or ball and chain, where the devil's in the details, the contract, the manipulation, being taken advantage of, with Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Pisces, perhaps Sagittarius too, given a choice or ultimatum here, as the Queen of Swords offers advice to the High Priestess or Pisces, Pisces and Virgo and Aquarius perhaps, hiding information in the small print, taking away your rights with their intention for you not to notice it. At 3:08 of the 3 and the 8 now with the space between, the dance of the 3 and a sting that comes in. Pisces plugging in to Mary Magdalene with advice to step up to the plate and take action where needed. Mother being clear, getting the message across, as the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords, perhaps Virgo and Pisces here in that aspect of the middle and the end. The lion is calm, just afraid for the child, or the pet is the fear, being nervous Nelly, and shedding the light, giving advice, but can't do it for them, they have to do it themselves. As a sleeping bear in a wake-up call to how the world really works, how it runs, and the needing to complete the process and bear all, learning to be a leader and remain calm in the face of adversity. With one card at the end, and the energy of the starving artist, and the raccoon, who is the artist, and this comes from the book, from the Wild Unknown Animal guidebook. The artist, to work on self-image for success. Sometimes a stage name or mask works, but other times it limits the creativity. Am I who my audience thinks I am? What if I'm ready to grow into something more? In the talented, shadowy, in hiding raccoon, the energy won't let us off the hook until this creative ego fear is resolved. When out of balance, they become competitive and the starving artist, and again that victim mentality. And the cure for that is supposed to be to make a new work. With lovers or divine feminine, or Gemini or Pisces or divine feminine, waking up to the lover or Gemini's slumber, the mask and the lack of direction, with the sovereign with the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, the twins or sibling and Cancer Page of Cups, or two earthy or manifesting, and one is loving and innocent and vulnerable, or three blind mice, make a bold move to manifest big, with the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, or Virgo or Gemini King of Pentacles and Cancer Queen of Cups. As the King of Cups and the Queen of Wands with kids, or come together as one, or the King and Queen of Cups come together, and one's more magic and one's more driven, or Pisces and Cancer, or two Pisces with 3.14 and 3.14 equals 6.28, or June 28th perhaps. And then 2.14 and 2.14 also came up, which equals 428, which equals 428 and 628, which is the 46 of the twins, the inner children. Perhaps the King of Pentacles with the Nine of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles kids, or perhaps a pet. Perhaps going to the fathers, while the Queen of Wands with two grown water children. As daughter visits father, the son visits the mother, or water signs come together, siblings, soulmates, past memories, or twins, or manifesting a job for a pet, hanging out with a parent who's alone. At 345, the Empress and the purging, the 45 of grief, grieving loss or regret, and the abundance of it. The underlying energy of the 12 and the privileged lady, the 30 of judication, where she is home resolving legal issues, or the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Wands and the Page of Cups, are reflecting with the main female, number 2, or the home of the Queen of Cups and Queen of Wands, and the Page of Cups or pet, on high vibe journey or destined train, or traveling with any luck to share equally with the sun, finding peace in a castle, or exposing the institution, sharing peace of male, or the main male, number 1, or Leo the lion, sun, number 1, with Pisces, and main female in training, or Libra, traveling by train to see them. There could be Gemini here too, with Leo, Pisces, Libra, Pisces, or Virgo, and the Queen of Wands over the house or home judicating, with lots of Pisces here, with fire, probably Aries too, Libra, Leo, and Virgo, Gemini, the main female and the main male, both in the underlying energy here, at 356, with the Empress and the Two of Swords, in their knowing and keeping their energy clear, with the 11 of Justice and the Page of Wands, cracking the whip or aligning with rod and staff, Gemini, Virgo, or Libra with the Page of Wands, and the 40 of the Page of Cups, vulnerable in the fun house of illusion, and 3 faces of evening the score, fairness for all, or main male cracking the whip, with both the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups kids or pets, with Scorpio wealthy man, or man in transition, or legal services or lawyer for the Page of Wands, or man with golden globe, or golden gun, or a gold bearer as opposed to water bearer, but the beaver was coming up just now as well. The man with great fortune, and then 26 of the Page of Wands, where 13 and 13 equals 26, or Scorpio's inspired. The key or vehicle is the toxic snake in the apple tree, or the Queen of Wands Lilith coming out to play in Leo, or the main male Gemini, Virgo, or Libra with the Page of Cups, and the wealthy Scorpio with the Page of Wands to deal with toxic Queen of Wands, cracking the whip, dealing with Cancer, or toxic vehicle, or snake in the grass or their garden, or the Page of Wands' mother snaps and or is toxic, or the King of Cups and the Queen of Wands are coming in with heavy artillery to not to mess with their children, and they're defending both the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands, or the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Cups' Queen of Wands side comes out. There's that Mary Magdalene energy and then Lilith energy in defense of her children or pets. The vulnerable, don't mess with them, right? She's really sweet as the Queen of Cups, but if you mess with her children, her lion side comes out. Gemini, Virgo, Libra, Aries, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer here, perhaps Leo again here as well. And it's 133.46. How perfect. All right, so there's that leap to the Christ vibration and then the children of the 46. So here is the 7-deck read on the table. Okay, so here's the 7-deck read on the table. Sorry, I have a message there. All right, so this is the main read, and I have the first deck down as well, the Tarot of Sexual Magic, but this is the SIRIAN Starseed deck. And then here is the 7-deck read on the table. All right, so this was cut and dealt at 7:22 on the night of the 24th. And then 7:22, that's Mary Magdalene feast day, isn't it? So that's coming up. And then at 7:32, Una came up, UNA. So there's that 7 of the chariot, the 32 of the journey, and 22 is the fool with an open heart taking a leap of faith. And then I finished clarifying at 7:47, which could be a flight, but also it's the chariot, and then the 4 to 7, the heart to crown, right? The trip from the heart to crown. And again, the synchronicities. So we have the Strength card, the Chariot card, and Luna. Before the read, and of course Luna is the moon. Before the read is Ascension, which is the world. Starseed is the Fool. And after the read was Abundance of the Empress and Reflection of the Hermit. There were 2 wands, 2 swords, 2 cups, and 2 pentacles. And you see all the 2s coming up because we have triple 2s in the other read. 4 2s here, and 8 years is coming up as well. An 8-year process. 8 is the dance as well. And the Knight of Pentacles and the 8 and the Queen of Cups, with the Knight of Wands prior to the read and the Page of Cups after the read. So we have 2 knights here, the Queen of Cups and the Page of Cups. And triple 2s in the numbers. So not only did we have 2 2 2 2 of the different suits, but there were 3 2s that came up in the read. And there were also double 4s and double 10s. So there's that 10-4 message received, and the double 4s of Hercules, her harvest. Also is the 4 of Cups of grounding, integrating, and mastering, how to receive love, and the boredom and apathy card. And the 10-10 of keeping your vibration high, as well as 9-10, begin again. The 49 of the 9 of Cups, the 24 of the Queen of Wands, and the 12 of the Hanging Man. We also have 410 here, which is 0 backing up the 41 of the Holy Grail, the Ace of Cups. The code line was all about karmic completion, and there's that Mic, M-I-C rather, or Mike. The karmic completion, and Ishun is that Taion, the one equal and congruent to the tiger-lioness connection, the totem. And change came up as well, split up into Che and then NGE. So the messages came up as such. Mouths destined to be clear and wise, high vibe queen, hermit, resting, or 5D connecting to the nth degree with the divine masculine's heart in the bat cave, part-time, sky, heavens, and again there's that referencing to the masculine part-time in the sky or the heavens, and physical therapy or training also coming up. The Mike, Ishun, NGE, which is the small little creature being small and little. So small and little came up in 2 totally different word definitions here. The time out for the break, to split, separate. The cloud before the storm, the destined wise hermiting and rest, connecting to the nth degree, hunkering down is the point here. And again, we've been Jenna didn't sleep well last night, but I slept really well last night and the night before. There's this energy of needing a lot of rest. And then the pie energy, the symbol of TT, which is also temper tantrums, but it's also the pie symbol, coming up again here, or 2 top dogs, as destined high vibe wise 9, or wise queen and wise hermit in the 5D connection, or resting to the nth degree in the bat cave, holding on as the divine masculine's heart, heavens. Out of the mouths of babes, the salts of the earth, the state of existence is to be united. Leisure time of the year, an opportunity or creation between 2 little persons here. And I'd said that there's 2 little boys who've been up to something. They're creating some kind of mischief, but in a really positive way. So it's like the masculines up in the clouds have been planning something mischievous, a little surprise. And again, the energy of the mouthpiece and the eyes and face. The masculine is the mouthpiece, having to face the eyes and innocence of the feminine. To be amidst an opportunity to speak, an opportunity to get the mic, and then a double time out in astino, or weakness. A step, a grade, a degree, rank, order, slow, tail, long to buy. But the energy of time out being weak and slow, the wise hermit or ending to rest to the nth degree and save. And again, physical therapy or physical training coming up here. And that could be the masculine physical training. In karmic completion and change between little ones. And the car completion to come to the fore, the T, to cry, to weep, and the 6 of the lovers. So here's the 4 and 6 again of the 46. The 6 of the lovers to dawn, rise, to fear, be afraid, a father, dude, I, me, or you. The beaver comes up again here, and sharp. And the grounded sphere of one equal and congruent to the tiger lioness. The E, shun, to unite and face, mouth or sun, to face the little eyes or little ones. So at 8:40, oh shoot, the page just ripped off too. That's the second time in this book the page ripped off, and they never come out of my books. Okay, so tearing out the page. There's a message to that because we talk about the pages being bound to each other, articulating the story. And at 8:43 is the dance of coming together in joy. And there's that, I'm trying to think of the quote, like tearing out a page of history. That's the message that's coming in. Taking a page straight from history. The Strength card is upright, and beneath it is the 10 of Pentacles upright, Ascension upright, the 2 of Cups upright, the Starseed upright, and the Knight of Wands reversed. The transition of the higher self reversed, the 6 of Swords reversed, and the 10 of Pentacles upright in transition. With secret passion in a need of peace, ascending the 2 of Cups starseed, falling short on strength, or took a leap and fell, being strong, breaking through to the other side, birthing through the ring of fire. And it's not that easy for the masculine to walk into a body. They have to make themselves very small. The Pisces upright and Aries and Leo unable to sleep or stressed out about family. The 10 of Cups upright and the happiness of surrendering to detoxing negative talk or lies and separation and heartbreak, and the needing to be strong for those who are weak. With the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups both upright here, going to look back when there was no peace and at no peace, with the 10 of Cups upright, so that the King of Pentacles can rest, lashing out at those dropping the ball or fooling around, not doing their work, and the 6 of Cups reverse, kids acting up, or strong mothering, or Leo and Scorpio and the Page of Cups, or being strong in the wake of a child or pet, a death or a birth or both, and a rebirthing here as the friends in a fallout, humbled and afraid, the death in the end, the dark night transition, with the Page of Cups child, the sweet one, the innocent one, the child alone, or the child birthing a child, or caring for one. The Hermit is upright, shedding light on the 6 of Cups reversed, falling out, or with kids who the Queen of Wands moon split, or highlighting the black cat, or at the hair salon, or the heat is on, and the Queen of Wands is needing clarity or advice about the Knight of Wands reversed who's split, or the Knight of Wands reversed with a Page of Cups child or pet. The Page of Cups is unable to express their emotions. The 2 of Cups lovers or close family, and the 4 of Cups reversed starting over with the Knight of Wands reversed, the High Priestess reversed without keys, fighting an inner war with a lack of integrity, hanging out with hostage and inspecting every inch, but off the fence, the Knight of Wands reversed, falling short or paralyzed by their secret passions, flirting with danger and hanging out or with a dangerous man. Number 3, creativity, and beneath that was nature, number 74, in need of peace, nature's balance, or nature's way. After a sudden event with the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, the Knight of Cups reversed, feeling unloved, or worried and disconnected or at a distance, with the 10 of Cups family, caring for the 9 of Wands, wounded warrior, Queen of Wands reversed. The cat or friends dancing, trying to make the best of a bad situation. Perhaps Scorpio reversed and Sag reversed, as the Queen of Wands reversed is strong, or with Leo in their chart, and the Page of Cups in disconnect or at a distance, hanging out without mother or in need of peace. In a choice of path and stuck looking back at the Queen of Pentacles reversed, offering a new life, and the Empress reversed and the Emperor reversed, getting new perspectives from the Hermit or a whole family hermiting here. And the Emperor and Empress are together like 3 times in this read, and they're both reversed. In the recent past is the Ace of Swords reversed, a split, where the Fool is upright and left prison with the Emperor and Empress both reversed, with the High Priestess reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed, and walking away to offer themselves a new life, in exile, in a heated exchange, or with delays, with the Knight of Wands reversed and the Page of Wands upright, or free from the brother who went to prison, or parents who no longer are able to chase after them at 1026, so perhaps feeling freed from the parents at that point. And there's that Page of Wands again with the 26. Or now the child is without parents and free to live as they want. And both Skyladder and Rocks came up. Aries is upright and reversed, or the Emperor is reversed, freeing himself from the Empress reversed and her family, no longer imprisoned. Or Taurus and Pisces both reversed here, perhaps Virgo or Aquarius reversed, and Saggy reversed as well, where the foundation is the Ten of Cups upright. Hard-working Two of Cups, hanging out with the King of Wands reversed, or hung out to dry by him, where the central energy is the Nine of Wands reversed, or the wounded warrior's surrender, the dark night coming clean about getting over loss and regret of passion offered without a choice by the Page of Cups, sweetheart, overworked and trying to get the dark night to surrender and move or visit or surrender to instability, to the party being over. And the challenge being the Four of Swords upright, taking a break, bleeding out, ending pain with the Queen of Pentacles, dissatisfied with them or with themselves. The Page of Wands, excited to bring good news or success, with the Knight of Pentacles offering to the Sovereign, catch, an opportunity to save while there's an inequity of loss, or a loss of investment, or to settle out of court. Or 2 fiery ones and 3 earthy ones holding on to each other in the face of injustice, of needing more money to implement a plan or to invest in new love. We have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Queen of Swords is upright, Queen of Cups reversed, and the Ten of Cups family sharing a codependency of putting it all out there for inspection, or inspecting the merchandise, fantasizing of patient or angel or injustice of synchronicities and the options in a split, with the Queen of Cups reversed receiving a love offer or a gift from God, or perhaps someone thinks she is. And now the Knight of Pentacles is upright with an offer or practical proposal of romance, with the Page of Swords message about the Knight of Wands reversed player, or perhaps a liar here, with the Page of Swords upright and the Page of Pentacles with the Queen of Swords, with the whole truth and new passion that was offered. The Knight of Pentacles, offering or proposing something to the patient angel with an attitude or with drink in hand, perhaps tripped up, coming together, or an offer to fool around to get over the loss and regret, with the Knight of Swords reversed in a heated exchange, with the King of Pentacles, man with 2 lovers, and the Emperor reversed with the Queen of Pentacles, hermit, missing their flame and or dream girl here. The King of Pentacles destined patience to share or settle out after a supernova or a big event or fireworks here. The patient or Sagittarius getting over the man with 2 lovers, or the Emperor reversed with the Queen of Pentacles, hermit dream, or Aquarius drama queen or actress, and patient or Sagittarius injustice of confusion about a split with the Queen of Cups reversed, offered big love, perhaps from the Empress reversed, blowhard mother, or one who uses her power and sexuality to get what she wants, or acting like a homemaker but could kill at a moment's notice, or Taurus reversed and Aquarius upright, or Taurus reversed versus Aquarius upright at the full moon, February 5th. Soon as the Chariot reversed, a break up, a break down, a break in, out, or through, car issues, accident, or ambulance perhaps at 11:07, alignment with the Chariot, stuck, broken, broke, or no movement at all at 11:08, alignment with the dance of Hierophant and the Magician, or traditional versus alternative offer of love. Or Taurus and Gemini or Virgo at the workplace with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, perhaps social work or a patient care needed here. Those in exile, injury, or illness, perhaps the Happiness Hotel or foster family. Stuck implementing a plan or investment with the Page of Swords reversed child who can't sleep or is suffering in silence or is dealing with a sister, stressed out, or lying and spying or spreading rumors, or broken, broke down, or stuck. And again, here could be someone who took on foster children to make money. The twin flames seeing themselves as the Queen of Cups reversed, fighting with the Queen of Pentacles upright to start over with the Queen of Swords, perhaps Gemini, or a twin, or to talk to lover or loved one who's not talking to them. Keeping to self and looking back at draining kids or pets, Leo reversed or ego reversed, out of control, or the King of Cups is upright and over the Queen of Pentacles, upstanding citizens. Conflicted and sick of it, or the Queen of Cups reversed and the Queen of Pentacles upright, the Queen of Swords is upright, and so is the King of Cups. The Queen of Cups is reversed though, perhaps with Cancer or with Cancer in their chart, and the twins dealing with heart-to-heart conversations or getting to know each other. Around the twins or how they're seen is the Two of Wands reversed, with the Queen of Cups reversed, out of options and a wake-up call to be strong and make a big attempt to face your fears or come full circle to end the pain, with the King of Swords reversed, at war with himself. With Aquarius, Leo, and Pisces all upright here, and the block being the Four of Pentacles upright, the Divine Masculine in the Batcave, with delusions of grandeur perhaps, or broken, or seeing synchronicities, or options, or heaven in their eyes, and dissatisfied alone, or dissatisfied with themselves. With karmic completion and change, and the wake-up call to sweet judgment with the Empress reversed, and child trying to wrangle them together, with Taurus upright and reversed, and Cancer upright and reversed, offering love to both the Queen of Pentacles upright and the Queen of Cups reversed, romance at the full moon, or Maid Marian or Mermaid Marian. Romance at the full moon may be destabilizing here. Moving, visit, or just taking a break or rest, or 5D connecting at night with the Empress reversed and the Page of Cups upright, which could be a mother with a new child or about to birth a child. In a breakthrough, the Hermit reflecting and dropping the act to be the Knight of Cups, or full moon delivery, birthing, and Hermit no longer juggling or performing, but sending their love. Not going to be there. At 11:27 of Justice and the Ace of Wands. The Knight of Wands reversed, birthing the Page of Cups with the Ten of Cups family, and the Queen of Cups reversed, maybe out of options in a split, divide, or needing clarity, and surrendering, challenged by a rest, a break, or laying it to rest, broken, or their water broke, or holding on, or the Divine Masculine in the Batcave, with the Knight of Pentacles offering a proposal at the full moon, perhaps to a mother, and the Empress reversed, birthing the Page of Cups for a new life, or hermiting and reflecting and dropping the act, coming correct, and the Knight of Wands reversed, digging deep in a split with the Queen of Wands reversed, or needing clarity with themselves, or the Knight of Wands reversed and the Queen of Wands reversed are two fire signs or two siblings, and the Ten of Cups family with the Nine of Wands surrendering, the warrior, the wounded warrior. This also could be a community or family surrender altogether, and challenged by rest, meditation, and the Knight of Pentacles offer, and the Queen of Cups reversed, broken down at the full moon, or by romance of the Knight of Pentacles is offer, of the Empress reversed and the Page of Cups upright, with an offer of a new life to the Hermit to drop the act or juggling act and be the Knight of Cups or be love. The full moon birth, perhaps the Queen of Cups reversed, water breaks. Okay, so there's definitely a pregnancy, but that can just be the representation of a birth as well. Okay, so that's everything. Let's just pull an energy card here at 154.15. And what is our takeaway today? From the North Node in Taurus, Gemini or twins, and the Virgo energy of endings, of compassion, of the one and the all. And I was just getting the harmonic egg. So maybe somebody's doing that who hasn't done it before. And the Roman numeral 2. I'm getting like the Pantheon or something. And there's the, look at that. The Parthenon, the Pantheon, in Rome as well. And that could be, you know, going into the ring with the lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Financial constraints of the covers being bare. So it doesn't have to be financial, but whatever constraints, the 13 of transition and what's you know, holding you back. And then these two came out with it. The sun. So this could be vacation or just being out in the sun, just enjoying each day as the 1 of the magician, the masculine energy, the leap to happiness. And the 12 of wisdom, of seeing new perspectives. And there's that energy of Thomas Kincaid and the garden of prayer here on the temple path. So Thomas Kincaid is very much about Christianity, and then here the temple path can reference Judaism. So it's that bringing together of the Jesus energies of being a Jew and then having Christianity named after him. And the sun. Okay, so we have the, right, I'm getting the deliverance of the sun to the feminine energy here, the transition of the sun to the feminine, the 1-2, the masculine to the feminine here. You notice the 1-3, which is the leap. The masculine's leap into himself, his higher self, leaping in to be the sunshine, right, to the Mary Magdalene energy in the wisdom of the path of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and the feminine, masculine and the feminine, and the 3 of hanging out and being wise and seeing new perspectives together. There's that energy of the lion's den, right, of the different buildings with pillars. And this also wants to be seen, the 3rd chakra. And that came up very much too as the stem of the Holy Grail and the, you know, the quantum entanglement that needs to be smoothed out in the middle. The 37 of the 3 keys and the 37 of unconditional love. The 3rd chakra of shining your light of Archangel Chamuel here, and the masculine using his wings and the confidence that brings. And there's that buttercup yellow of Mary Magdalene as well. And the thinking man's at the bottom of it all, right? So going from the thinking man to his higher self. The 46 of the inner and outer children, finding his mission, finding his way, and that leap into unconditional love. The 3 keys of Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, which we're in now. And the 46 of the inner and outer children, of the innocence of the child, and leaving behind the thinking man or the intellectual man, right, who's holding his heart in sadness, purging, and then leaping into the higher self as a walk-in, is the underlying energies. All right, and this is the cards that came out. So again, going from the financial or whatever constraints in the transition here of death, the death, the ending, the transition, the dark night of the soul, and coming out, you know, coming up roses with the sunshine, vacation, enjoying each day, right? Fully seen with the sun, right? Exposing all on the temple path, but also the Thomas Kincaid energies of the Christed path, not the, it doesn't have to be a religion. It's the raising to one's higher self. And remember, and Judaism is very much based in intellectualism and knowledge. So it's using both, but leaping from just being the intellectual human to the Christ itself and actually incorporating both into one in the quantum entanglement of the solar plexus into unconditional love of that King of Cups energy there. All right, if that isn't a mouthful. All right, I think you have the point. Wow, big message there. It's a 7:11 on the clock, okay? So there's alignment, the key alignment. All right, so remember your water. Water is so important, of unconditional love. Bless your water every day, and then spread that around the planet. Remember your rest, your dreams. Allow yourself to sleep. Your joy, your nature, to spend time out in nature every day. And allow yourself to be joyful every day. Knowing what you know, knowing who you are. Rise and be loved, the star that you are. I'll see you guys soon. Have an amazing day, guys. Remember to breathe.